JJ Solomon.
This Corey Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA, Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. This is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
It's your boy, Mr. RTBA, Mr. 214, Senor Dos, Uno Cuatro, Senor Dos, Catorce, Mr. Undeniable, Mr. These boys can't touch me. On my worst day, right here with my dog, my partner in crime, my brother from another, Mr. JJ Solomon. What's popping, my guy?
How goes it, bro? Just another Thursday night in paradise, homie.
Man, Thursday night in paradise, and this is the Spit Bucket episode 61. You understand? On the end of the day, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share. We got a special show tonight. You know, like this guy right here, like I said, is legendary. You know, legendary.
Tell him.
You better mention him. You better mention him in the greatest of all times. When you speak on his name. If you don't, you know, they call me Mr. I'm on that bullshit again, and I'm gonna be on that bullshit. We got the alien. Hold up. The executioner. Hold up. The man who did it from his 20s to his 50s like no other. We got Bernard Hopkins. He's in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Executioner, welcome back.
Before we start, I gotta clear my throat.
Yeah. Yes.
Respectfully.
I had to get that spit out and put it in the bucket.
Man, hey, listen, we ain't ever talked about our name of the show. It's a pretty solid name, right? Tank Davis was giving me shit one time, said I need to change it. But Spit Bucket, I mean, Spit Bucket is boxing, right?
Yeah, you having conversation, you spit. Same thing when they do in lyric and putting out lyrics. If you're a rapper, you spit and you kicking game, you talking stuff and you pop and spit and you doing all this stuff. We all know what that is, and that's what we're gonna do. In I guess the next half hour to an hour, but. You know, don't change anything. I mean, it works for you. You building it up 63rd, 62nd, 67th, or 66th episode. Y'all, I know you're in the 60s, but let me tell you, man, in going strong, and I ain't got to patronize you any other way. Numbers reflects relevancy and who the credibility belongs to and who respects. So people getting information, they getting educated. They don't have to agree to disagree, but at the same time, they get entertained and they also getting a lesson. That's the key. They getting lessons. Without lessons, it's just entertainment.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you being on. Let's just jump right into it, dog. I mean,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Obviously, the talk of all of boxing Twitter is Ryan Garcia and the PED test. Last time we had Bernard on, we were discussing the crazy upset victory. Shocking for a lot. It sounded like Bernard wasn't too surprised. But since then, Dan Rayfield came out and reported that the follow-up test of the second drug, the steroid, came out to be negative. So as it stands right now, the facts that we know, I'm going to do my best to just talk the facts, and then we'll sprinkle in our opinions. The facts that we know right now is that Osterin was found in his sample. We still don't have the B sample. Now, Victor Conte and Devin Haney came out today talking about it was at 6 nanograms, which is 60 times the limit. That still hasn't been shown. Nobody's shown those numbers. As it stands right now, Ryan's just got the positive for the Osterin. Bernard, what can you update us on that, bro?
Well, I can just give you my suspicions without having update of anything that most media people who put out what they put out, and actually what you just said now. But I can tell you as far as not my experience, but I can tell you when it comes to my experience of people trying to derail or try to undermine and change the narrative of the beatdown 2 or 3 weeks ago. And let me tell you, first of all, if it takes 2 weeks in this modern day time, in any sport, for any substance or ban a substance to come back positive, then we haven't grown as we said we done in society over the years since the Lance Armstrong, one of the biggest scandals in sports history when it comes to having longevity, winning multiple championships, doing outrageous events and victories in the Lance Armstrong era, and the major sponsors that basically dumped multi-millions of dollars in many, many years in that biggest fraud. But Ryan Garcia's situation, to me, is based on what they didn't like. And one thing I can say, as far as my opinion, knowing how boxing can be behind the scenes when things don't go the way that the masses and the powers to be want it to be, it goes some down to maybe commission, it goes down maybe to referee, it goes down maybe to everybody that has their own agenda. Not in one room agenda, but agenda of what they don't like about a person, what they don't like what the person might have said or did, or anything that can cloud their decision making of doing the right thing. So as time go on, I can predict this to you based on my experience. No heads up from anybody. That it will be more clear as days go by that either two things going to happen. Whether it's the Dan Raphaels or anyone else out there in the writing world business of boxing, either going to apologize in their own way or try to make an excuse that they was misled by others and they jumped the gun. Either way, Ryan has to do what? For my opinion, and I said this to him at the Mugia fight, stay focused, stay on your game, which means look for the next big fight, get that established. Don't get caught up in the distractions, because that's what this is all about, distractions. It doesn't take 2 weeks to know if a person in our sport called boxing to realize that she or he's cheated or took something that was a banned substance or is a banned substance. We have too much technology out here. We have too much resources out here and information out here to get anything back that's incorrect in 48 hours, no earlier than 24 hours. And once this gets a little old and boring as time go on, and I don't mean months, it's going to take a couple more days, maybe a week, they will find something else. And one thing I noticed in the years of my experience in boxing, when they come up with things that basically is made up because they need to distract what happened and what the world have seen. And let's think about this, y'all, seriously. How wrong most people were. I mean,
about the fight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How they how wrong? Like, you got people that don't want to be wrong, and they would lie and cheat and steal to camouflage that you was wrong. You prejudged. You thought you had it in the bag. A lot of people can't deal with that. You and I may can say, you know, hey, look, I picked such a, you know, I picked Spence over Crawford. In my case, I flipped, I changed from Crawford to Spence, went back. But I gotta eat that. I seen something that changed my mind. I gotta eat that. But everybody ain't put on Hopkins. See, there's no really straight up people walking around amongst us like y'all really think it is. And it could be people right close to you. Because at the end of the day, they're not really who they are until you see who they are.
Go ahead. I was just going to jump in, right? I'm going to go and just to piggyback on this. And I want to make sure my position, my stance, and Bernard, and I mean this respectfully. Obviously, you know that Ryan Jaw's boy. I'm not going to sit here and pound my chest and say Ryan Garcia is a cheat. But one thing I will always do, because I respect the fighter as much as I respect the other fighter on the other side of the corner, is that to make sure I stay 100%. I can't speak for Correa, but for me, I just go off of the test. And right now, we know there was something in there, and it doesn't look as bad as it was, and we still don't. Here's what's pissing me off. We have the Austrian that's in there, but now you have somebody like a Victor Conte, we're about to talk about him, who's starting to spread word that of the quantity when we don't know that number yet.
Let me ask you a question. What credibility do he have?
He doesn't add. Well, actually,
no. Actually, what? Go ahead.
No. And Bernard, I want you to understand.
No, I asked you because I've done my research. I knew who this individual was, and you know, I mean, when I hear names that comes out and stands and remind me of other things before Ryan's fight with Devin Haney, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of who can I? That's just like Sammy the Bull being a witness for murder.
Sure. Let me make sure you understood what I'm saying.
Do you understand what I just got finished saying?
Hell yeah.
You heard of Sammy the Bull. You heard of Sammy the Bull, right?
Yes, and I agree with that. I don't think I transitioned that right. Why is Victor Conte? I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. I believe the test results, but I don't trust Victor Conte being in boxing for one bit. And that was what I'm going to transition to. I don't trust his ass one bit, and I hate that he's even involved in boxing.
Where does his credibility come? But that's what's wrong with this sport, to a point where individuals like that, who definitely his credibility is questionable if you ask and talk to the right non-biased people. Where do this credibility comes from out of this individual's mouth that is solid and written in gold and should be what it is because he said it? And I don't care about actually the relationship that he had and don't have with other fighters or people. I'm not too much concerned about that, even though that could be a motive, of course, but the character, the individual, what do you have to gain? What do you have to gain? What do you have to lose? Being in a position to say and do what you do or what you did. So my whole thing is, when you start getting guys, to me, that have no room based on the garbage they bring with themselves to have any credibility, about who's a cheat and who's not. Because there's an agenda there. There's a serious bias agenda there to undermine the public, which is not hard to do. And most importantly, it's to undermine the greatness of what they seen and witnessed, whether they liked it or not, from Ryan Garcia 3 weeks plus ago.
So Bernard, I want to get to this because you spoke on this. You said you never seen where it took 2 weeks for a test to come back.
2 weeks. Yeah.
For a lot of people who don't have the type of knowledge in boxing and everything that go around it like you do, is this normal for a test to come back 2 weeks later?
No. 2 weeks? No. They needed the 2 weeks to get together to come back what they came back with. So they probably had many. Look, they probably had many ways to come back, but it was too quick. And what they was probably allegedly trying to come back with probably didn't going to sound too crazy, sound too much of a fiction. So they had to find some way. But the time takes away, to me, my opinion, the time from the fight until the tests come back, 2 weeks and some days, the distance of the time, and we have something here is suspicious to me. It's suspicious. It's suspicious to me based on, and then as we said earlier, before the show, well, when the show started earlier, about Dan Raphael backtracking basically on what was said the first time, and now we just waiting for the other tests and waiting for it to see that haven't came back yet. Nobody have seen that. This is coming to be right now more of a conspiracy of ridiculous allegations to take away what Ryan Garcia done that night. Then they can't deal with it. Hold up, listen, they can't deal with it. I know Devin Haney daddy is not sleeping. I know for a fact they can't accept that they got
everything,
boxed, outbeat, outcoached, outcornered, out everything that night, and to not accept it like they claim they would do, and most fighters in corners say they will, the best man win. They had to come up with something to make it soap opera-ish and also make it to the point where they can tarnish someone's name, or they can tarnish, which is most important, the victory that more than became a promotion. It became more of an inspirational fight for most people that feel that Ryan has something to say, and then there was some that was against it. So this, to me, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, give me y'all feelings on this one, it became more than just a boxing match, whether you agree or disagree with all of the things led up to that fight. Right. And then we all get hit with 2 weeks after.
Yeah,
we're being bamboozled and hoodwinked by conversations and news articles by top reporters that they think they do control to a point, but it comes to a point now where when the second test come back and say, oh, we got to wait for one more to make sure that this, okay, whatever. And still waiting on that. How long do that take? Another 2 weeks? It's going to get real goofy and stupid. And I'm embarrassed for our sport to be in position that generates hundreds of millions of dollars. The world is watching.
Yes.
The business side of boxing, just like they're watching the talent that's over here that's boxing. And you got other countries. You got other places of the world that's looking and laughing and watching this shit show.
Mm-hmm.
So-called businessmen that's not handling their business the way it's supposed to be. They are emotional. And that's why you can't be mad at the Saudis, my brothers over there. You can't be mad at anyone that has a vision to change the narrative of the ignorance that's been reeking in America boxing since the Jack Johnson days in different ways, but the same ignorance in a different time that we live in. Is to me, I can say it's unbelievable, but it's not. It's just the time that I get a chance to look at it before my career ended and when my career was active. I believe, battle-tested credibility. I'm going to say that again. Battle-tested credibility to be able to speak on this podcast to millions, hundreds of thousands of people that will see this as time wear out. As time wear out. Some will agree and some will disagree, but that's cool. But at least you heard me and you heard us here on Spit Bucket. Because the bottom line is I want to educate them, but I also want to agree to disagree. And at the end of the day, if we didn't come out of this conversation with some type of knowledge, whether it's from you or me or the fans, then it was a waste of a few hours that we could have been doing something else productive. I love this sport, boxing. I know y'all love it. I ain't say I'm sure y'all love it. I know y'all love it. I know that y'all love the sweet science of the boxing and also the competitive of being right. Nobody, I believe, wants to be wrong. We want to be right about everybody we pick to win a fight, whether it's the heavyweight, lightweight, middleweight, or whatever division. These are the things that we love. And there are some out there that say they do, but they don't. And they will find and do anything, whether they're part of the boxing game, whether they in the boxing business themselves, whether it's a fighter, manager, promoter, advisor, whatever. There's more than none or some that don't feel the same way that most of us do. And they will do anything to undermine it and create all kinds of nonsense that the world ain't paying attention, but if they do, they'll see it. And they starting to. I want to give the fans some credit that most of us don't, and media people don't. They starting to see. They starting to see who's the fraud and who's not. They starting to see who's the hypocrite, and they're gonna sit back and they're gonna watch. And then you got some that's gonna ride or die with ignorance. I get it, but long as you continue. When I say you, whatever promoter company out there, whether it's Golden Boy Us, whether it's the Saudis, whether it's Matchroom, Eddie Hearns, whether it's the PBC, the credibility lies in the fighters. And yes, the matches that they fight in and who they fight, whether they in-house or not, they must fight the best in that division. And I'm not saying that it will never be no controversy. I ain't gonna say it's part of the game, but expected.
Yeah. Great.
So obviously, Bernard. So obviously, we know that when the new sample came out, you know, he was cleared of steroids, right? So We know that. So people are going to hear this interview and they're going to say Bernard Hopkins is saying, how did it take 2 weeks to come out? Conspiracy theory. Something is going on. What message do you have for people when they hear this interview of them words and thoughts that you had?
Well, it's what I said. Everything I said, I stand on it, and I have no problem running the tape back. I have no problem running the conversation back. Ryan gave me his word that he did everything he needed to do in camp to beat this fight. I witnessed 2 days of it. Ryan is no cheat. I know he's no cheat. He proved to me that he can take the mental warfare that's going on amongst the world and around him and people's opinion and still be able to manage that and go in there and take care of his business. And this is another way of getting into his mind and undermining what he believes about himself. Ryan knows he at war, man. Mm-hmm. We at war. Come on. So I have really nothing to say to the people that we, an individual, some themselves is at war, and people will say, well, he talking about war and all this sort of stuff. But what is he talking about? Come on, man. You that ignorant? Like you gotta understand that Ryan changed the game, man. He changed the game. Listen, let me tell you something. He changed. I mean, I've been around a long time where I only can say that a few times in my career, in my life. And I ain't even saying that I was part of changing in any era of game of anything. In that way that Ryan did. In the Hagglers and the Muhammad Ali, but in a different way when I'm saying I ain't talking about skill, y'all. I'm talking about leading up to it and then executing it the way it was executed. And then they come out with the, oh, guess what? Mm-hmm. He was on some, I knew it.
That's what sucks, man.
We got that. So you took the air out the balloon. And then the most beautiful thing you get out of this, if you're really not emotional, you will see all the ones that was quiet and you couldn't hear a peek out of them. And now they got a little whiff of some hope, of some conspiracy. I knew it. And then they rose from the dead all of a sudden. All of a sudden they came from the dead. You're like, oh my God, they're back. See, and they're going to crawl back under the rock again. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I can't say everybody has the mentality like me. To be honest with you, I need these people in my life. I needed them. I needed these people in my life when I was active, and I definitely need them in my life now because I'm human. You can get caught up with yourself in this crazy, could be distraction world where you might think you someone that you really not, or you someone that you think that you can't be checked in some other way, and bam, here you go. We seeing this in real time, whether it's rappers, whether it's entertainers in the movie business, whether it's anybody else. In real time, you're starting to see real life movies playing out in front of the social media world. So I need these people to keep me. They don't even know they're doing it. And even me telling them this, they so naive and so satanic thinking minds, they don't even give a damn. They just think I'm rambling and talking. But if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be aware that they exist. And if I wasn't aware they exist, I'd be sloppy. I'd be moving sloppy. I'd be thinking sloppy. I be handling my business sloppy. And then eventually sloppiness will be in his grave and you're done with it and you'll be a topic of conversation. Why do you think I need these people? And just because I'm letting them know I need them, they would never stop needing me. They would never stop needing me because they got an agenda. I have an agenda. And they're going to help me while I destroy them as time goes on.
So Bernard, you've been a beacon of change in this game. All right. And I kind of have a breakdown. All right. I have a breakdown of what I want to say, but I'm going to start with my question. How do we fix it? That's what I'm trying to say. And listen, I've been getting torn up because any opinion I put out.
How do we fix what? How do you
boxing?
Fix what?
But this piece of boxing. All right. This piece of boxing specifically. All right. How can we expect to fix it? You see, like I told you earlier, I'm always going to just.
Because I got a list. I got a short list. So I'm glad you said that. So let me know after you get finished. I want to run down a list of how I think we should start and change it. I'm already in conversations with a lot of people, politicians in Harrisburg and PA, because I think that the first state that starts it will be the one that leads it. The first state that started will be the first state that leads it. We got a new commissioner in Pennsylvania. It used to be Greg Surd. We got a new commissioner in Pennsylvania up in Harrisburg. I've been up there twice this year. And I was up there before the fight with Ryan Garcia. And I'm talking about things that we're going to talk about after you finish up what you got to say. But I'm not letting out any secrets. So anybody think they're going to get some heads up that I'm letting something out the bag? No, it's already a mix of conversation of the people that, matter of fact, one of them is a former boxer, and I can give him his name because I told him I was going to do it when I do the Spit Bucket podcast interview. His name is Marty Flynn.
Yeah, Senator Flint. Yeah, you
Senator Flint.
In touch with him.
He was 10, 11-0 before he retired. Now he became one of the top senators in Harrisburg. He's a former fighter. I took him in like I took Gabriel Rosado, a young guy. I took him in the heart of North Philly. He's coming from Scranton, Caucasian guy. Everybody was picking on him. I took him under my wing. Now he's a senator, retired undefeated, fought as a middleweight, used him for some camps a couple of times, sparring camps to give him the experience. Now he's a senator. It's good to have friends they can listen to that understand boxing because they've been in it a little bit to know what's going on. And something big is ready to happen. And I didn't bring it up first. You brought it up, so I'm going to let you finish. And then I'm going to give you my short list. No, I'm going to give you my short list about what we should do and what I suggested to the 15 people at the table up in Harrisburg a week before Ryan Garcia fight was at the Barclays Center in New York City. I was there. So
shout out to Senator Flint. Like you said, I've actually had a couple conversations with him about all the work you're doing with him. But this is specifically on the boxing's a mess. There's a lot of things that can be fixed. But with this specifically, in any other sport, somebody pops, somebody tests positive, they serve their suspension, you move on with it. With our sport, like the responsible us, what we're supposed to do is read the test and not get emotional and say, oh, but we like this guy we want. That would be perfectly ideal, right? But no. You see, I can say, yeah, Ryan Garcia is positive and whatever, but I can also say this. Boxing's involved. I'm going to take it back to this. Is Victor Conte involved in bad for boxing? And let me be specific with my question. We have our biggest names, some of our biggest names from Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, two people that I absolutely respect. By no means am I saying those guys are cheating, but I'm saying, why did we allow Victor Conte, who's banned from all those other sports, who served time? Now, look what's happening. Because Victor Conte's involvement, now all these people are just talking about conspiracies. And I'm not saying, when I say that, Bernard, I'm not saying that we need to lynch Ryan Garcia. We need to wait for the whole process to come out. But it causes an unnecessary cloud of doubt. What are your thoughts about why we let Victor Conte in and how the hell do we fix this PED problem? Again, this ain't even about Ryan right now. This is about boxing.
Let me tell you why we let people in the boxing that has no credibility to be able to call the shots or call the opinions to publicly convict anyone with that type of baggage on them and reputation that they have themselves. People in boxing are stupid. Majority of them are stupid. They think they're not, which makes them even dangerous. And they are scared and petrified of change. And it's going to take not only just one individual, myself or many, behind that one individual that's brave enough to be able to say that by all means that's necessary, this must stop. And if it don't, then it will go into the next generation like it went on to this generation. No one with that baggage and that type of reputation should be allowed to be opinionated or to have the power of testing and be in position to be able to say who's a cheat, who's not a cheat. This man has no credibility. His record says it.
Man,
his reputation, hold up, his reputation says it. What else do we need? What else do we need to say, to talk about whether he's qualified to be able to say that this is credible and this is not? He's a cheat and he's not a cheat. We, the boxing community, whether it's one of the major problems is every commission has their own rule in every state of America. Big problem. It's not regulated by any source. Big fucking problem. You gotta weed out the bullshit first, which is laws. And even laws, we see prisons and people are breaking them every day. So what do you think they're going to do if boxing don't have these checks and balances there for you to understand you have a choice and a chance? And if you take the choice of doing something that break the law, you will be held accountable.
Exactly, Bernard.
So hold up, y'all. These guys that's in position right now in boxing, that I can tell you their first and last name, have PhDs, smart, educated, and you mean to tell me that, and I'm not saying I'm not, but I don't have what they have when it comes to what they went to school and college for, but one thing I do have is common damn sense. And I know for a fact that they know for more than one reason that I'm a problem. And I'm a problem in a good way to some and a problem in a bad way because they know they can't muzzle me and they can't cancel me.
Bernard, I want to stay right there. Because we want to talk about Victor Conte, and I want to go back what you were saying, like on how this is strange. But we need to just take a quick.
It ain't strange. No, it ain't strange. Strange is something you can't understand. This is in your face, and you have to either deal with it like it is, or you can talk about it and let it go unchallenged. It ain't strange. It's reality. It always been different times, different topics. But until someone like me, just like someone like Muhammad Ali had to stand up for his rights and said Viet Khan never called him a nigga. He told the world that. He told the United States that. Come on, man. I mean, why are we acting like don't you understand that I'm not expecting everybody to be like Bernard Hopkins? I'm not expecting everybody to be like the great Muhammad Ali. I'm not expecting everybody to be like the great Satchel Paige. I'm not expecting everybody to be the great Bill Russell playing at the Boston Garden. Y'all got to understand. You got to understand there are people that come around every now and then in our generation or the next generation that stand out amongst us. I said that an hour ago. And whether you that guy, I'm that guy, or somebody else behind us, or it's multiple people, it ain't that many because they don't want to risk being in the good old boys club. Now we can go to that break. Remember what I just said, the good old boys club.
Okay, I want to get back to that. So that's my guy on here.
The good
I've
old
seen him.
boys club. You know what the good old boys club is?
Yeah,
to get along, to be alone.
Yeah, I want to touch back on that when we come back from break. But shout out to my guy on here who I work with. His name Chris. We work at DEC. Big dog salute. I appreciate you tuning in. But what we need to do, we need to pay some bills. We got a brand new sponsor, Dynamite Software Services. Let's go.
Step into the ring of success with Dynamite CRM, the heavyweight champion of CRM software and website development. Jab through clutter data and deliver knockout blows to your competition. With Dynamite CRM in your corner, victory is guaranteed.
Man, we got a new sponsor in the house. Get ready to take your service-based business to the next level. Say with Dynamite Software Services. Say adios to juggling multiple platforms because Dynamite offers an all-in-one solution for managing technician sales, customer support, inventory, and billing seamlessly on a single platform. But hold up, because that's not all. They also specialize in crafting stunning professional websites that will make your business shine online. And if you're looking to boost your digital presence, the top-notch digital marketing services have got you covered. What sets Dynamite apart, their dedication to delivering exceptional results tailored to your business. Please mention the Spit Bucket Podcast so you can get 10% off the fantastic services. Don't miss this opportunity to knock your competition, streamline your business, and evaluate your online presence.
Nicely done, Uncle Ray. All right. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Dynamite Software Services. Everybody make sure y'all go visit Dynamite CRM. That's DINOMYTECRM.com. Follow them on Facebook at Dynamite Software Services for the latest updates and insights. Your business deserves the best. Let Dynamite take it to the next level. Shout out to Dynamite Software Services. JJ, can you speak on Dynamite and what they're about?
No, in a nutshell, if you got a new business, you need yourself a cleaned up website, holler at them. They'll hook you up, man. Let them know we sent you. But let's get back to business, man.
Back to Bernard, because look, Bernard, I want to get into what you were saying earlier. We can get to the good old boy because I want you to tell me about that. But tell me about what's your thoughts on the New York State commissioner resigning all of a sudden? Can we hear your thoughts on that?
Another suspicious look. Jesus.
Well, they want to leave before they mess up their retirement money because some heat has been tossed around under their feet, and when you suddenly leave based on rumblings of certain alleged improprieties, you're going to get the hell out of that building before you have to be held accountable, and that could be really about questioning certain things. And I'm glad you brought that up because that takes me into what I mentioned a couple minutes back about things that need to be done in boxing. I believe it ain't have nothing to do with the Ryan test and all this, something that fits in a line of what we need to get done, at least started. And it won't be right away. I know it won't happen overnight. It's going to be some resistance. There's going to be some vicious fights that it's not needed. Why? Whatever. And some of the promoters probably be dead before it comes in effect, and they don't even want it, even if they're not here, knowing what it would change the game. And what is that, Bernard? Every referee on a level of a championship fight or a super fight, then there's a difference between, with all these belts we have in every division, over 4 or 5 belts, not even including the region in South America, North America. I'm talking about world championship belts. So we got a lot of belts out there, whether it's good, whether you agree, bad or not. Opportunity, non-opportunity, bunch of this, bunch of that, whatever. That's not the issue. I think for the big fights that really brings casual people around the world, the Ryan Garcia, the Devin Haney, the potential Ryan Garcia, and you know, any other big name, Stevenson, Shakur Stevenson, or any big other name that can be made, then I believe that every trainer, no, not trainer, excuse me, every referee, every judge, 3 at ringside, need to have what they call a financial background check that the promoters should pay for. Means that the high stakes of this game, like a football game or baseball game or soccer game or any high stake big event that could be compromised by greed, by side hustle or whatever, or opportunists, I think that every referee on that level, starting from the top, should have a financial background check to make sure he have no car note or she have no car note that haven't been paid in 6 months. May they rent, mortgage, whatever need to be background checked like you do when you get a credit check, when you're trying to go ahead and get money from the bank. It should be a background check on judges who might have outstanding mortgage that's unpaid for 3-4 months, house in foreclosure, might be facing a financial divorce, it might be, we don't know, Pete, listen, don't you understand, we're dealing with human beings here. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody had thought of this other than Bernard Hopkins? And the promoters should pay for it. The sanctioning bodies, everybody should be able to be saying, hey, we should be debating who's going to pay for it based on everybody wants to be the one to pay for it. Means that we be arguing with the commissioners, we be arguing with the sanctioning bodies about who should. First of all, we like the idea we should be arguing about who should be able to pay for it because we want to pay for it. No, we want to pay for it because this brings what? This brings legitimacy and people that's betting money, people that want to see the right person win and not lose on a scorecard when everybody clearly see that this judge got it wrong. There's no way in the world that 2 judges give a fighter 9 rounds and the other judge give him 3 rounds. I mean, we have a problem here. And the only thing I can think of, right, other than the incompetence of somebody that said they put them there, they had to be picked amongst other referees or judges. Why not have them audit, forensic, have them understanding that you want this job, you have this job, but you have to get this certain things background check to get this job so we can feel comfortable that you haven't been compromised based on your personal circumstances. I mean, don't we understand that this is boxing, what they was doing way back in the day, and it's kind of modernized about doing shit now that is different than the 50s and the 60s? Don't they understand that time has so elevated to be able to be a little bit more sophisticated? Like what are we talking about here?
But
Like,
man, it's because money.
I'm not the smartest person in the world, and I'm far from the dumbest, but I know for a fact that every promoter and every top referee that's doing a super fight, and there are championship fights, those two status type fights that have a lot on the line for the credibility of boxing, the referee and the judges should have a financial background check before they are selected. And if they don't pass the smell test, they don't get the job. What is wrong with that? That's not saying that you did something. That's saying, hey, we want to make sure that you're not under any financial, any compromise from any person or entity or company be able to be unprofessional where we need you to be professional. I guarantee you, y'all, this will bring more credibility to our sport. It's just like the NBA and other sports having replay. When they show the replay, the referees comes to the side, they talk, they look at the replay, they change the call, don't they? They change the call.
Why don't we interview judges?
Listen, I'm watching a game yesterday. They got it wrong. They all huddled. They looked at the tape. One referee did the talking, and it was a call that they missed. But that call could have interrupted the game. It could have changed the outcome of the game. Where is wrong with boxing, where we got all this technology, all these millions, all these guys walking around in these pretty suits with their chest out. They've been on the board for decades, and you mean to tell me that nobody thought about this? Nobody thought about background checks of not all, referees and judges that's doing super fights and championship fights for starters, and then work our way down and let the promoter of the event pay for it, and the sanctioning bodies would pay for it also.
It's probably not that expensive to run a damn background check, man. But Bernard, I got a juicy question for you. Of course, I don't expect you to drop some names, but you've been behind the scenes. You've been in the ring. You've been outside the ring. You've worn the suit. You've worn the glove. Have you ever seen some shit with your own two eyes? Like, have you seen it? Because we always hear the rumors.
Have I seen what? Have I seen
some shady
what?
shit, some under the table shit, some money exchange hands. So
No.
Yeah, so everything is under. So that's what makes this shit so hard. Is that how the fuck are we supposed to, like? Look how deep you are in the game.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you what I seen though, which I thought was definitely improper. Now, when you on a ringside, or you in the seat, or you in your aisleway or seat, or the hallway or whatever, not hallway, but you're in the aisle, you're in the way where you hollering, screaming from the seat, you're in your row. But when you ringside and you smacking the ring mat and you hollering as close as the judges are, you right next to the judges on the ring mat, but outside the ring, and you hollering instructions to the fighter right near the judges, and the commissioners right next to them. So that means you at the table, basically by the ring. I seen that in Vegas, the Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fight. I couldn't do that in New York City. I couldn't do that in Philadelphia. I couldn't do that in Atlantic City. I couldn't do that anywhere. Like when you say, do you see things that no, they ain't that bull. But when you see things that you understand that the world is watching, and it might not mean that you believe that this is something that is unprofessional, the world is watching you favoritism of actions that's being presented in a way openly to tell everybody we run this and we got it and you can't do nothing about it. That to me is arrogance that need to be checked. And the thing is this, there's no crime in trying to do everything you can do within the rules to give your fighter the best chance on winning. And what do you mean by that? As a promoter, you want to be able to do what? If it's a weight issue, if it's a weight that you believe your fighter is better advantage as, and you get that advantage and you negotiate it to best weight for your fighter, then to me, that's open game. When it's all said and done, and if it don't work out for you, now you want to cry the blues, then to me, that's not right. So you only get what you negotiate. And we all heard that before. If you didn't, you heard it now. You only get what you negotiate. If you let somebody disrespect you the first time, they're going to disrespect you the second time. You must check that right there in that space, because you can never gain that respect back, no matter what they say to you. If somebody owe you money and they don't pay you, and they know they owe you money, and you know they owe you money, and you don't say nothing, you are dead in the water. You must check that person by any means necessary. That's in anything. That's in life. That's in sports. That's in anything. You must let them know that you know. In certain cases. In certain cases, you don't. But certain things must be said and must be dealt with. You cannot, certain people just cannot fake 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And certain people can. Hold up. Some people can and some people can't. Boxing right now is at a moment where we can gain respect back from the world.
Everybody, the world,
The world. Right now, we in a good position of doing what? Making the right fights. And hopefully the judges get it right when the fight is called to be judged. And the referee of these big fights will referee the fight with no bias, with no favoritism, and just do their job. It's never going to be perfect. You got human error and you got human ignorance. And sometimes you got black on black help.
Bernard. Speaking of that, I want to talk about the stuff that's bad, super bad in boxing, right? Because it's a lot of great things. But what's super bad is that guy that we was talking about earlier, in Victor Conte. You know, the guy who liked to talk a lot. You know, the guy who said he could beat any drug test. The guy who was known for the clear, right? So my question to you, Bernard, what do you think about fighters attaching themselves to Victor Conte? We see a lot of fighters out here. You know, we showed the clips. We see Devin, we see Kerr, we see Ryan, we see people out here attach themselves to Victor Conte. Is that suspicious?
No, that's part of the culture of young fighters and the ignorance, lack of knowledge of ignorance will make you embrace people you really don't know. Boxing is the only sport that I know of that any and everybody can walk into one of the top fighters, if not the type fighter in boxing, and get so close to him. So someone said, well, who's that? Who is that guy? You can listen, you can talk to Mike Tyson, he'll tell you. You can talk to myself, you can talk to Roy Jones, you can talk to, we all have this history. We all have the experience where you've seen somebody around you more than one time and you're trying to figure out who is this person. And we ain't talking about a female. We already know what that is, most likely. But we talking about male groupies.
Oh, say it again. Say it again, the male groupies part for all the people on Twitter.
Oh, you like the male group? The male groupies.
Yeah, they all over the place.
Let me tell you.
They're all over the place.
Boxing and basketball has the most, to my knowledge and my experience, and I'm 59 years old, fast approaching 60 in January. Boxing and basketball have more male prostitute groupies
prostitute group
than any sport or anything I would.
I see it, man.
So I can't really say any sport because I don't know, but I can say from my perspective and viewership, it is unbelievable how grown men will prostitute themselves to be in the circle and the mix of a fighter or NBA player. It's unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable. It's like the women now has more of a more dignity and dignified to try to at least like the men are pushing the female basically to the side and be like, no, they battling who's going to be in the business. And that's what I see in the boxing world. That's why individuals like that will have these young fighters mesmerize, hypnotize, and then after that is they basically at their beck and call. And these guys have no credit. Like, you didn't hear about these guys 10 years ago. I didn't. I don't know about yourself.
No, because he was in prison and he was on house arrest.
Listen what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, boxing brings, and again, we come from a lot of areas, even myself. We're not talking about that per se. I'm telling you, this individual is a con man. He know the game. He been around. It's not easy to manipulate. It's not hard to manipulate. It's not hard to be able to wiggle your way into this boxing business because he ain't the first and he damn sure won't be the last.
And that's what's sad, Bernard. That's what's sad about the sport. Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was just going to say that's what's sad about it. I was going to shift to a different gear, but I did want to close out with this because a lot of people have been telling me, oh, you don't believe in second chances or forgiveness. Yes, I do. And I said it last time.
Forgiveness for what?
For Victor Conte's past. They say you don't believe in it, and I do. But listen, go do your redemption.
It ain't about forgiveness. It's about to me, I'm going to speak for me. Yeah. To me, it's about, okay, he did his time. He did his. We talking about a person's credibility. If he was in court in the land of the law of this land, if he was in court, credibility in your past has a lot to do with the credibility of what you're saying now and who you are now. So we can't try to exclude that and say, hey, you're going to judge a guy about his past and all that. People are crazy, but they got to understand your past can come back and hurt you.
It's attempted murder. It's attempted murder having this guy in boxing. It's attempted murder to me.
There's hundreds of other sports you can go do your redemption tour, not the one that involves killing people, hurting people. We see people die all the time. So go do your redemption tour. Yes, I believe in forgiveness. Go do it somewhere else. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not hating on Conte. I don't hope he rots in hell. Go take your shit somewhere else where people ain't dying every year. That's all I got to say about Victor Conte. I wish we would get him the hell out because it's so damn unnecessary, man. But Hey, let's shift some gears real quick if you guys are good with it. Before we do, shout out to Punch Drunk, great interview. Shout out to Spit Bucket.
Shout out to Punch Drunk, baby.
Yeah, shout out, bro. Appreciate you, man, with the $9.99 super chat. Now we're gonna shift gears a little bit to the other. Oh, never mind. Go ahead, Corey.
So real quick, no, let's shift, JJ. Let's shift. What's
you sure?
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, turn it back. We'll make it real quick. You good on time? Be up. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So no, all I was gonna say, the next big news that we have been seeing now, and the question we wanted to present is how realistic is Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence, because they are in a full-blown beef as of yesterday. You see the Derrick James comparison? We talked about it last time. There's a drama that we might need. How realistic is that fight to happen this year, man?
I think the public will eat it up. I think that the beef is real because it of course is with Brother James' trainer. But in the same token, it's a fight that I would like to see. Listen, Errol Spence is still a live dog in the game. And let me tell you something. What Ryan Garcia did to Devin Haney, people didn't expect Crawford to do what he did to Spence. So you got to be thinking, if this fight or when this fight happens, I want to see it. But you got to be thinking to yourself, Errol Spence know that a lot of people are writing him off. Whether it's justified or not, he's in the same position of Ryan Garcia after the Tank fight. And we know he had one fight after that, but nobody, we know what that was. So that would make this fight intriguing to me, like more of a fight of drama. And it's not just coming with two guys that, suffered their first loss. And now Spence it needs redemption. And what way to get it is through a Ryan Garcia who just come off a major fight. And some would say upset. I would never say that, but I'm saying that they will say that. Spence is really in the same position almost, if not the same as Ryan was, based on having a super fight with Ryan Garcia this year. That's for starters. That just now what I said, that's for starters. That's drama itself. Now you throw in the other ingredients with the drama, the shortness of the underpaying Ryan taking up for his trainer. When I mean speaking up for him rather, about this and about that, and Spence now is starting to react to those comments and conversations, and even having some of his own lashing out on things that and he wants to fight. That to me is a huge fight based on the position that Errol Spence is in right now, whether he pack it in or whether he win the big fight that Ryan had an opportunity to get with Devin Haney to bring him back to life after the Tank Davis fight, even though he had one in between that. That would make, to me, when I heard about this and I started reading and hearing stuff about them back and forth, and of course I not witnessed it personally, but just like everybody else, social media, I said this thing could be huge, because I know Errol Spence don't want to pack it in right now. And this is a fight where if he don't win, we all know what's going to happen. It's over. Some would say it's over now, but he got the credibility to get this one in to prove he's not. That's what makes it a super fight.
Do you do it at AT&T Stadium, Bernard?
Correct. Absolutely.
Woo! You heard it here first.
Absolutely.
Oh, it'll fill that son of a bitch up. Hey, listen, Ryan.
Hold on real quick. Also, Bernard.
Or
Earl,
the Jerry Jones Stadium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
AT&T Stadium, we're in Dallas.
Jerry Jones Stadium, hold up. Or.
Just put it here.
No. Well, that'd be first. But you need a stadium that's going to hold over 20,000 people.
We put 60, 80, however many you need. We'll stuff
We could do 120,000. But look, speaking of that, no disrespect to Errol Spence, because he have reigned as a champion. He had 3 belts, one away from undisputed. The guy's 28-1. That's just like you said. You got to give Errol Spence all the credit. But Ryan Garcia, like I'm not talking about, and now you have to give Ryan Garcia, his credit after what he did. But Earl made a statement that this fight could be at 154 or 160.
160.
Now, I say this respectfully, though. Don't Ryan Garcia get to make that decision? And also, this is a fight where Errol Spence could make a boatload of money. If Ron say, I want this fight at 150, and Earl know 20 million, possibly, or more on the line,
I think
do Errol Spence take this fight at 150? No, I agree. Do Earl take this fight at 150? 152, something like that?
It won't be 60. I think he's taking 150. I don't see the fight being 160. I think both fighters will be at their best speed, power. I think they had the best of both worlds at 50, 55. I'm telling you, they will be explosive. To me, it would be like, man, it's that Ray Leonard era, man, and the Duran era, and the Tommy Hearns era, and that era with those fight styles and those weight classes that they fought, even though, 47 and to 160, we talking the same type of weight between now and going back then, 47 and 60. Y'all know that was a loaded division, welterweight to middleweight. Y'all know that. Or they meet in the middle, which is what? Junior middleweight. So those fights, and again, let's think about this, y'all. It's not just a one-off. Like, there's some fights there between 55 or 50 and 60, 55 to 160, junior middleweight to middleweight, and in some cases 47 to 54. There's some super fights, especially the big junior middleweights and the big welterweights, that eventually going to be middleweights.
Yeah, it's there, man.
Damn. I mean, think about it. Every top promoter at least got 2 to 3 fighters in that weight division. Every top, this is really only 3. Let's keep it 100. There's really only 3.
Who are them 3? Who are them 3, Bernard?
Oh, here.
Who are them 3?
You got PBC, you got Eddie Hearns, and you got Golden Boy.
Okay, speaking of Golden Boy, JJ,
Did I miss any? Oh,
no, you didn't, because I want to talk about that. Because
at the end, you got Top Rank, because they still got some live bodies over there. So you can't discredit Top Rank. They still got some live bodies over there. But those 3 up top I just mentioned, would y'all agree that they got that weight division of multiple fights that's ready to go in that superstar or at that superstar level now? Y'all agree?
147 to 160, absolutely.
No, I agree. And this is another thing. I like how you worded that, Bernard, and that was truly great. I'm talking about on the Errol Spence situation. He in the same position as Ryan Garcia. When you talk about a guy can have redemption to the world, not only to, Ryan Garcia doing a lot of talking, chirping at Errol Spence, which as a fighter you're supposed to do, but being able, knowing that Ryan Garcia is getting coached by Derrick James and being able to defeat Derrick James and Ryan Garcia. That's the story right there, Bernard.
Yo. Brother James know Errol Spence. He know where the weakness is at. He know where the strength is at. and he'd been with Errol Spence since the amateurs, correct?
He was 15, 16 years old. 15, 16 years old.
And listen, and Errol Spence is motivated too. Let's not get it twisted. Errol Spence is motivated by what? He felt betrayed. From the interviews, I didn't have to read between the lines. Naturally, as a fighter, he feels betrayed. Like he wants to prove something too. That's why, if you understand the buildup of any boxing match, especially the super fights that's being built up now and later, there has to be a theme. In most cases, a theme, a catch to it. Other than the talent, why this fight and why these two fighters make a great super fight that we're expecting. It's because of these things that they're fighting for. Errol Spence has a beef too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to what? What better way to shut your old trainer up is to be his young superstar. And listen, I'm rocking with Ryan, but Ryan can't sleep on Errol Spence. And anybody that sleep on Errol Spence is putting himself in position for Errol Spence to make history. So this is a fight you can't look at Crawford fight, which was what, a year ago?
July 29th, 2020.
Almost.
Okay, all right, but was close. But listen, he got some redemption in his head that he want to come back. Listen, this one loss, and it was a beatdown. Don't get me wrong, there's one loss. I'll say 5 fights in that one loss. But in the same token, he had a chance to rest. He's been idling for a minute, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He had a chance to heal, get himself together, whatever it is, maybe gain some weight, then take it back off. But let me tell you, this fight is a fight that people will buy, people will want to watch, and they will have different opinions about it. Because if Errol Spence come to this fight and don't be willing to put it all on the line, and it shows, or will show, career's over. They asked for his head, and he lost one fight with Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
The man's 28 and 1 when winning in boxing that you ever hear the fans say you should retire after losing one fight out of almost 30 fights.
Boy, that was a brutal.
Do you think it's a cumulative? Do you think it's a cumulative of things that happened over the years? But no, because let's be honest, we from Dallas. I was rooting for Errol Spence to win that fight against Terrence Crawford. But like I said, I don't know everything about boxing. I was wrong, and Terrence Crawford came in there and put on the religious ass whooping. If we being honest about it, right?
Yeah, and you know what I think the biggest ass whoopings came from? And I'm not joking about this because he could have lost his life. Those 2 car accidents.
It was a big one for sure. Yeah.
See, that rattling and being like an egg in an egg carton box, one egg in one box bouncing around, and cheat death. What is it? 2 times he cheated death?
The car and Terrence Crawford, yes.
but look, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I give Errol Spence credit though. This is why I'm gonna give him credit there, Bernard, because he showed me that he was really like that. And I want to see what he gonna do when he come back though. But what he showed me he was really like that is after that car accident, which was horrific, he came back and took on an ample opponent in Danny Garcia after that car wreck and proved his legitimacy. I think that's the biggest win. Forget the championship belts. I know about them, but I'm talking about the after effects from that horrific accident, coming back to beating Danny Garcia. So when I say that, he lost a big fight to to Terrence Crawford. You stated the best. I'm gonna listen to you. You do this. One of the greatest, or if not the greatest of all time, and we'll get to that later, right? Like you said, Errol Spence had time to heal, and we've seen him come back from that horrific accident, be successful against a former 2-division champion,
Yes.
and Danny Garcia. So it's very possible, and a lot of people gonna have him the favorite.
Favorite for what?
I think. Look, I was scrolling on my articles. This people
No, you
said
said favorite for what?
if he fight Ryan Garcia.
You done lost your goddamn mind.
No, I'm just telling. No, hey Bernard, listen. I'm being honest with you. I don't know what Errol Spence said.
I'm
Let me tell you real quick.
Errol Spence is going to be better than what people's going to give him the respect for based on what they've seen Terrence Crawford do. But when they see the skill level of both of these individuals in that ring, and Ryan is coming off a emotional high, spiritual high warfare right now, that's going to be the difference between Spence mentality and Ryan Garcia reality. I'm going to say that again. Spence mentality with the reality of Ryan Garcia being able to know where he's at and know what he had to overcome the fight before the Spence fight is coming into a play of where he knows he's at and where he wants to keep. This is the wrong time for people to go against Ryan Garcia. The only time that I see that people will have sense enough to say, well, he's been motivated by proving to us and fooling us on the things we thought he wasn't ready for. We won't be fooled again, but they will be because they can't help themselves. The only person out there and fighter out there who people will look at and say, I know he won't get past this test, and that be a test that he didn't get past the first time, is a Tank Davis fight, a rematch. Anything past that in that weight class that's realistically is going to be in that weight class that I believe Ryan can handle himself between 54 and 60, I believe he'll smash everybody in that division.
So we know you picked Ryan to beat Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Do he knock him out? Do he knock him out?
In a dog fight. In a dog fight.
Do he get stopped or do he go 12?
Referee stops it. Mercy call.
Harvey Dock ain't stopping shit, I promise you. Not Harvey Dock. He won't stop.
But hold up, Bernard. Are you saying Ryan Garcia stops Errol Spence?
The referee stops it.
The referee stops. Yeah.
It's called a mercy call.
Ooh.
So listen, Bernard, the people want to see it. We put out a real quick poll on Twitter, and it was 3-1, overwhelming. People want to see that fight. Had you asked me this a year ago, I'd have been like, meh. But I seen something in Ryan, past all the bullshit, the drama, where I could see this being a good fight, man. Now, I was going to ask you, though, will we see Devin Haney, he had that familiarity. 6 fights in the amateurs. He grew up with him. Errol, he doesn't have that. Even though they were stablemates, he doesn't have that same experience with him. For this fight to be credible, with Ryan moving up in weight, Errol being a former pound-for-pound superstar, and still having something in the tank to prove, we have to see Ryan Garcia take this shit serious. How do we know Ryan's going to take this fight serious?
When you say Ryan take it serious,
because he's been joking around about drinking and smoking.
Let me tell you. I'm going to answer your question that I shouldn't have to answer because did you see Ryan last fight where he, to some, didn't take it serious by social media, but went in there and did his job?
No.
Hey, the greatest show. The greatest show on earth.
Hold up, ask me. So I understand, but I can't fathom having to answer that and say that Ryan is going to take this fight serious like he didn't take the last fight serious. I'll say that Ryan has something that no other fighter in this time, in his era, that can act, perform, or whatever, strolling or trolling or whatever they call it these days, and go and deliver like it's part of the training camp. This is what Ryan believes. This would motivate him. And maybe it's not for us to understand it. Maybe it's not for you or anyone else to understand it. But I got a chance to witness this guy in camp for those short days that I was there. And you've seen some posts put up on my Instagram of me sitting or standing way back in the dark shadow, looking at him shadowboxing, and what I seen in the ring. And I seen not hitting the pads, but I seen the movement. I seen his body language, what he said, how he looked. I said, y'all gonna get surprised, man. Y'all don't understand what I witnessed. And I wasn't letting nothing out of the bag. Ryan didn't tell me don't say anything to the media. I don't do nothing like that. I said, hold up. I said, Ryan got these guys thinking he ain't right. He ain't ready. And I said it on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because I seen it. I said, hold on, wait a minute. And again, I was so confident. I spoke to my partner. I said, Oscar. I said, how you look? How you look? Right? I said, Oscar, listen, man. I said, Oscar, I'm telling you, he's ready. And if nobody think he's ready, they're going to get the biggest surprise of their life. He's ready. He's ready? Well, if you said it, I said, Oscar, I'm telling you, this ain't promoting hype. He's ready. He going to shock the world because I know what they thinking. And I got my insurance because I needed to see, and I wanted to fulfill my promise to his mother and his trainer and Ryan Garcia when they asked me would I come to camp and spend a day or two with them. And I did.
And you told us when the cameras weren't rolling. And that shit made me and Corey talk behind the scenes. Like Bernard was confident. But I just want to explain myself. I'm one of those old school guys who thinks this sport is sacred, right? It's a sacred sport. So you have to take I have to adapt to Ryan Garcia. Evolution. We're growing older. I have to adapt. My old way of seeing this sport has to go away because Ryan Garcia, what you're saying is true, that he's trolling and all that shit, I have to just accept it. The reason I asked you that question is because I bought into the hype. Is Ryan going to take it serious? Like I said, I want to see a man not say he's drinking and smoking. I want to see a boxer take the sport serious. And he probably is behind the scenes, but the shit on social media, as one of those old school dudes, I have to adjust. I have to understand what the hell these youngsters are doing. And that's why I asked you that question.
No, I know what you need to do. You know what you need to do?
Talk to me.
You need to think about what he's not doing. You need to think about what he's doing when he don't show you and not what he show you.
Facts.
You ought to think about what he's doing in the dark and not in the light. Because if I'm showing you what I'm doing in the light, 9 out of 10, I want you to see it and I want you to think that what you see is what is really not. Do anybody know what was in that bottle when he came up at the weigh-in and he put the bottle down on the stage?
He wanted us to believe it was a beer.
It was club soda.
The fucking ginger ale. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
See, I look at it different. Like I said.
And the thing, hold up, and the thing is like this. Everybody has their way of getting in other opponents' psyche, right? And sometimes you can do things and say things, but 90% of things that Ryan was saying and believe, he's still being consistent, and he believe it, and he's on a mission to believe it. And as time go on, some of it will reveal that you'd be like, you know what? I just thought he was just trolling. I just thought, or some of it's like, man, he's just crazy or whatever, or that's just the way he is. But as long as he got people having conversations and talking about it, and eventually, guess what they're going to do? They're going to watch the fight. Ryan gained more fans than Devin Haney or anyone else did after that fight.
Facts.
And I look at it different. I call it showmanship. And like I said, he tricked a lot of us. It was the biggest trick since what's one of them dudes them dudes in Las Vegas, them famous magicians, David Cop or whatever they name it. Yeah. The biggest magic trick we've seen in boxing in a long time. And like I say, it was planned out, mapped out. He scoped his enemy. He scoped the world. He said the north, south, east, or west. I'm finna put y'all in the palm of my hand and play y'all.
But listen, it was not really like it. Like you gotta. And listen, what Ryan understood, from my perspective, that he has 9 million followers, correct?
I think it's more now. It's probably 10 now.
Okay. Yeah. Now check this out. Just say 1/3 or half of those people, whatever. That means that this era and those people are following, and they are gobbling up everything that he's putting out because he got their attention because they became followers, correct?
Yep.
So he basically controls their mind and control how they think.
And how they see the sport of boxing. He is their identity to boxing, dude.
So tell me that's not brilliancy. Tell me that's not brilliant. Tell me that is not something that you are born with. You have to either have it or not.
Shout out to our boy Hot Boxing Minute, because he's been calling this for a while. That Ryan's been playing all of us. And we've seen it, and we've been seeing it, and it's hard to believe. Bernard, I talked to you the day after.
You still in denial.
Bernard, listen, Bernard. What people don't know is about me. I told you 4 or 5 times I got Devin Haney beating the dog out of Ryan Garcia. I said he is gonna die. I told you this is the conversations we had in person.
Correct.
And you told me, okay.
Yep. That's what I was trying to say. But listen, fellas, we got one more thing. Bernard, are you good? Because I want to shine some light. All right, cool. Let's shine some light on some fights, on the boxing. We got a real juicy golden boy fighter straight from our backyard coming up with the potential fight of the year between Virgil Ortiz and Tszyu. And this reeks of fireworks, man. Let's talk a little bit about Virgil's comeback and what do we expect to see on August 3rd, man, because there's a lot of boxing people that are real excited about it.
Yo, look about, like you said, August 3rd. I mean, this is one of the major fights that could be a main event that's going to be on this card, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is a fight I will be, and hopefully y'all will be there to witness not only just the Tszyu fight and Victor, but let me tell you, this is a beginning, as I said an hour or so ago, of change coming from across the pond to here. They're going to be forced to be in position to make it credible, our sport, and doing the best fights, fighting the best fighters, and also having integrity on not only the fighters, but the ratings, who's pound for pound, who's second, who third, who fourth. All that stuff has to be rebooted, has to be tore down and then built back up to a point where it has credibility. these are the fights, as you just mentioned, Victor Ortiz and Tszyu. This is Virgil Ortiz, excuse me. This is
shout out to Joy.
this is something that's starting a trend. And it started a year plus ago, but it's starting to gain momentum. And I'm excited for August from what they're going to bring. The fight card is loaded, as you already know. And look, what a great time of 2024 to go into, say, late summer, early fall, August, with a fight like this to take it on through the rest of the year. I mean, with more fights to come before the year ends to 2025. I mean, I'm excited, but let's enjoy now. There's some other fights coming up in between now that we're not doing, that others are doing, and that's good because it keeps the motor running, and that's the key. It doesn't die down and then pick up for September, which normally is May and September, and everybody go back in their graves and die into the next fight. So no, we need to keep going.
And Bernard, I'm really excited about this fight. I've been covering Virgil Ortiz since he was an amateur, right? And to see what he's doing, I think it's 21-0, 21 knockouts.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Getting better.
But Bernard, you know, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't ask you this question. This guy has had real sicknesses. This guy has fought 2 rounds in the last 3 years. And he is going up against this guy who we know, if, you know, he wouldn't have had that blood clot like something I never seen, you know, screaming like a volcano from the top of his head. And Tszyu, right, that happened to him. We know Tszyu was winning that fight against Sebastian Fundora.
Correct.
This is a tough fight for Virgil. Can you – I know you're going with your guy, Virgil. But 2 rounds, 3 years going against this guy who has been super active, like it's tough.
He have his hands full, and this is a fight that he wanted, and this is a fight that's either going to set him back 3-4 notches, or it's going to pull him up 2 or 3 notches.
Hell yeah!
And this is hold up for a minute. This is a fight that he will not be the favorite by most accounts of people who reporters and people that I've talked to said this fight is a tough fight, and if he wins it, he's going to have to earn it, and he's going to have to actually go out there and prove that he's that guy, and this is the biggest test he ever had in all the fights he had, and you're absolutely right. This is a fight that is it possible? Can he win? Yes. Do we have a chance to win? Yes. But is it a fight where I'm overly confident? No. But am I confident that he can pour it out if it's 2 words, 2 letters, but it's a strong if he has to be near perfect to win this fight because of the inactivity, which is key, right? And has he elevated to the next level in those times that he was active? I didn't see that, but I see that this is the moment that he get a chance to do it. And it's not all in one night. He has to get past this one and then look for another one. Right now, because of the sickness, because of the delays, because of setbacks, because of fights being canceled and whispers and conversations and talks, is he okay? Is he fine? Would he fight again? I mean, all these things play a lot on a young fighter, especially, y'all know this, mentally, whether his confidence are down or up, we will know come August And this is a huge test because Tszyu is coming out there to represent the Tszyu family and to represent his own identity. He's going to be a problem early that he has to be checked, and he has to be checked early. If he don't, he's going to run rapid. And he's a damn good fighter, man. And you gotta take your hat off to Victor for Virgil for taking this fight, because this is a tough fight.
Now,
tough fight. It's a tough task.
It's a super tough task. Now, listen, I asked Eduardo, the legendary coach, trainer, father, Eduardo Garcia one time, who Virgil reminds him most of, and he said Fernando Vargas. And we know Fernando Vargas had that, not so much his style, but his attitude. He had that, you know, he's a warrior. You punch him in the face, he's going to come back a little bit harder to you, at you. But would you say I know we're talking about Virgil's ring rust, potential ring rust, but do you think there's anything that we should consider with Tszyu coming off that war? Like a lot of times when a boxer sees his own blood for the first time, it does something to him mentally. Tszyu's bouncing off a bloodbath. Can Virgil get something off of there that maybe Tszyu's confidence ain't what it was, even though that was a headbutt? Mentally, when you see your blood, it does something to you. Is there something Virgil could work on and maybe build some confidence to make up for his lack of activity?
I think Virgil needs to work, concentrate on what motivates him and work on what he needs to camouflage from Tszyu, and work on what he needs to capitalize on with Tszyu. So he has to camouflage his flaws, and he also has to capitalize on his strength. I don't think he should play into or worry about the effect of Tszyu last fight and where his mental state is, because once that bell rings, both guys know that they're going to have to prove something, and Tszyu know that he's going to have to prove something in spite of the last fight, the drama, the cut, but all these things come in effect that they don't want to be set back and lose this fight. This fight is not a career ending, but this fight will set them back to not be even mentioned in the big boys of playing at that division. They want to be in the big boy conversation. And the big boy conversation is the big money, the big fights, and they move forward. They don't want to move backwards, a notch or two notches, not at this moment, because it's wide open in that division for multiple paydays, and also to be able to be talked about in that division as one of the top fighters. So it's a lot at stake here, but I don't think Tszyu is going in there thinking that his last fight, blood or no blood, and there was a lot of blood, that he is not prepared and ready to go. He had a chance to rest. He had a chance to get ready. He know that the style that he's fighting is not going to be easy to find, hard to find, right? And his style, the way sort of like his dad, can give you some problems if you are straight up stiff and dimensional fighter. You can't fight him like that. So it's going to be some different. We're going to. I will hope. I'm hoping we see some things different for my guy than normal in those times he did fight with Tszyu, because he's going to need that. You can't fight him straight up. You can't fight Tszyu straight up and robotic style and think you're going to be successful, because the styles doesn't accommodate Virgil on our side, Victor on our side.
And that's a great point too. Yeah, that was a lot of blood, right? And I definitely understand, what side where JJ coming from. But see, what I also look at, you can see when you see a real fighter, right? That blood coming down profusely from the top of his head from an elbow. It was an elbow. Come from the top of his head. He could have easily let it go to the scorecards in the fourth round. But that real fighter in him, that true dog, he kept going. And that's what shows me Tszyu is really who he say he is, and he's been proving that.
Oh, he got mad heart. He got mad heart.
And I know Virgil is who he say he is. I watched this guy come up. I know what type of tenacity that Virgil has on the inside. He has that killed or be killed mode. That's his ideal. Yeah, he had a couple of setbacks, but that don't change his mind frame because the work ethic that Virgil Ortiz been doing as a little kid to where he's at right now, I promise everybody, Virgil Ortiz is nothing not to play with. So I'm telling you, y'all better be wisely before y'all put y'all money. You know, this is a good fight, but I'm telling you, if Tszyu ain't as big a favorite as everybody think they is.
No, I got Virgil winning. I got Virgil
believe,
winning, and I'm not just saying that because Bernard's here. I got Virgil winning.
I believe, and I agree with you, but I believe Tszyu going to bring the best
100%.
out of him. I believe he's going to bring the best out of him. And doing that, we're going to see some success from both guys until one takes over. I'm going to say that again. We're going to see success from both of them.
I like that.
We're going to have some success. We're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. But that's going to bring the best
100%
out of each of those, and then each of them, and then it's going to be either you stay at that level that you at, or you're going to move up and take charge and take over, and we're everybody going to witness that. That what makes it a great fight. That what makes it a good fight. That what makes it like, oh, he ready. He ready. Oscar, he ready. Or he not.
No, he's ready.
No, or it's such a great fight. Like, it's such a great fight. You have half of the people thinking he won, half of the people think he won. To be a controversy, and they have to do it again, right? That's the potential of this matchup, in my opinion.
Right. I don't want to do it again. I want to get rid of him, beat him, get him out of the way, and step to the next thing, because Tszyu is one of those, like I said again, one of those awkward styles, man, and one of those guys that's competitive. And you can't tell me that he ain't thinking about keeping that legacy intact, man. Come on, y'all. Come on. So he got all these incentives to what? To execute. And so, let's get this win, move on to the next and bigger, better things, and take this win and all the good that you can learn from it with the victory, and move on to the next.
Hey, y'all should start marketing. Y'all should start marketing this being a revenge for Mexico. That shit will get some. That people will lick their chops. You know, Costa embarrassed Julio Cesar Chavez, an old Julio Cesar Chavez. That should be the narrative.
Is a history there.
Yeah, man.
That I'm going to use on my next probably interview when I'm out there.
Take that, please.
And look,
I ain't thinking that. You absolutely right. This is a generational passed down, generational of really a historic moment.
Virgil got the red, white, and green on his back for this fight, man. And they're not, they ain't got to be ugly about it, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth.
It is what it is. I mean, the fans going to make it ugly or make it nice.
Yeah.
And Bernard, I know we're about to go, but I got to ask you this. I told you, I got to ask you this question at the end. Bernard, right now, when I look at your career, when you start boxing, Bernard?
Amateur, like 9, 10 years old, and I turned pro at 25 after I was released from the state penitentiary.
What year was that?
1988.
What time you finished boxing?
Finished at 56.
No, I'm talking about what year?
Oh, what year? 2016, 17.
So when I look at your career and I look how you went through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, made history. Bernard, from 2000 to 2000 and like the year we in, or from 90, who done it better than you? What fighter can say that they were? I know people want to throw. No, don't talk to me no Floyd Mayweather, right? I consider Floyd a great fighter, right? And I'm not on here to tarnish Floyd, but Floyd wasn't a Bernard Hopkins who wanted all the fights, who took all the hard roads. I don't think it's no fighter, and this ain't just because we got a relationship, Bernard. I told you Ryan Garcia was going to lose, right? So this is my thing. Who done it better than you in the sport of boxing from that time?
Strategically and historically, nobody.
Yeah.
And not only that, I had 2 fights in the ring, and also what I stood up for and believed. See, some would say that that really had to do with it, but it could have been so many distractions and excuses I could use if I wouldn't accomplish my goals that I wanted to accomplish. Those who followed Bernard Hopkins, those who took some time and respect the research Bernard Hopkins, they will understand that I was a fighter in the ring and a thinker, and also a fighter out of the ring and a thinker. So not only was I winning historic championship fights, title defenses, oldest champion to the day in boxing history, George Foreman II has surpassed his record. But to fight your opponents and then go against the establishment and go against which I believe that was wrong, how fighters is being treated and taken advantage of. I mean, this is public knowledge. I could have easily been distracted. It was in days. I remember in my hotel room, I can remember the night before the fight, trying to change certain things that I felt that it was wrong and they couldn't, shouldn't do it, or argue that they wouldn't do it, or they're not going to do it to me. I mean, I think about these things all the time when I need to have reflection of my career and say to myself, I'm glad I didn't fold. I'm glad I didn't give up, because it's part of my story. And I tell people, yeah, I've done a lot of things in the ring, and a lot of people that have been around me, and there's a lot of them that know, and not even in my camp, reporters that wrote stories about things leading up to the fight and all kinds of drama and things like that could have easily had me distracted and basically wasn't ready mentally or physically. So to go in there and to do what I've done for many years and been consistent, I know I stand alone. I know they're appreciated more as time go on, because that seems the way the world works. But at the end of the day, I have a legacy. And that's how important it is for everybody to listen to me right now when I say that you must establish your legacy, so no one can erase your legacy. Someone, whether it's in your family or the family of boxing, it will be mentioned again. It will be talked about again. It will be debated again. And that's why legacy to me means more than anything that boxing can give you. But you must get those things first to build and start a legacy. It starts from somewhere, because it will end. And when it ends, you must understand that you put all that you could put in the game of the sweet science that I love and still love to the day. And that would separate me from those who come in the business because or for the cause. And I came for the cause.
Salute, man. Salute. Bernard, before we let you go, one last, it's not even a long question. Sometimes when I look at you and Oscar, it kind of reminds me of me and this guy. Because, like, if somebody that crosses me or looks at me sideways, this dude's all over it, and same way the other way. So it would be irresponsible of me for me not to just ask this question. What did you think about the Canelo attack on your boy, Oscar De La Hoya? Do you have a message for him? Do you have anything you want to say? You can keep it professional or whatever the hell you want to say about it, because I know what this guy would say if it was somebody coming at me like that.
Well, I say like this, like, we are grown men, and we know how to handle our business in a grown man way. And I say that a grown man don't need another grown man to take up for him. But I also need to let people understand that whether it's Oscar or whether it's myself, that I recognize when my partner has a beef with someone or have a disagreement with someone. But I also understand that we are promoters and they are fighters. I know how to separate myself from the fighter to the promoter. When Ryan said that I want to squash the beef, I said we have no beef. I understand at that split second, I could have been like, oh, what you talking, this was random. I didn't know he was going to say that. Y'all heard this.
Mm-hmm.
And I handle it like we don't have no beef. You need to beat this guy, Devin Haney. That's what we did.
Hell yeah.
So Oscar and Canelo is strong about what he believes, and he say he has receipts to back it up. And Oscar believe what he believes and said that he will respond to that, to the public. He told y'all, told the media, told everybody that. There are certain things that grown men of partnership or friends or anything else need to understand that when we was kids or when you was young in the neighborhood, and before you jumped in to take up for someone, you never even asked, why are y'all fighting?
Facts.
I smacked his sister. I tapped his sister on the butt. I did this. Well, you should have got your ass kicked if you did that. But when you're a grown man and you got
tapped two sisters on the butt, Bernard.
No, I'm just saying. You need to know certain things that you might not be part of that beef. You might not be part of what could be legit or not legit, because at the end of the day, my loyalty is here. Your loyalty is there. I would let nothing happen under my watch. But when you get words and screaming and hollering, I understand that. I've done that too. I know how to play that game. But in the same token, I'll let y'all work that out. I'll let y'all understand that we are promoters. You feel the way you feel. I feel the way I feel. But I'ma still respect you long as you respect me. And Canelo and I hug. Canelo respect me, his trainer, the young and the older guy, the trainer. I spoke to them. I gave them respect. They gave me my respect. And I heard a lot of stuff was going on. You got to understand, I'm 59, so I'm a grown man. Let me be clear on this, because this is a statement that some might not get and some might get. Oscar's enemy, or whoever all his enemies are, I know some and some I don't. It's not my enemies, and my enemies is not his enemies. That is the profoundest statement I can say, and I can say it again. Oscar enemies are not my enemies, and my enemies are not Oscar's enemy. And in this business of boxing, 90% of people you might not like, but you do business. And you do business because, at least I can speak for Bernard Hopkins, I don't let my emotions affect my business thinking and business tactics, because then I'm taking it personal. I don't do it with the fighters. I don't do it with the managers, the advisors or anyone else, once you start taking this personal, then the game changed. Case in point, Bill Haney. I don't care for Bill, and I hope Bill don't care for me, no matter what the outcome was between him and his son and Ryan Garcia. I still felt the same before and even after the fight. But that don't mean Oscar feel that same way, and I ain't take it a way that I felt disrespected by that, because guess what? I know who I am, I know how I stand, and I know for a fact that this is business. And they didn't think that I had the discipline to do it for some crazy reason, but I wasn't going to go off the handle and give this man a free check or have someone say, this is the reason that Bernard did this, did that, and then I become the scapegoat. So what I thought about was sitting back saying to myself, they must think I'm a damn fool, or they must think that I'm emotional enough to play or fall into the trap of the bullshit. So I let Devin Haney, I let all of father, the Bill and all of them cozy up. When I say let, I encouraged it. Cozy up with Holly, cozy up with Oscar, the girlfriend, the wife of Bill, whoever it is, whatever it is. I let them do all that stuff. And I just sat back, man. I just said to myself, I said, I done done all that already. I am so advanced. I am so, like, when I say advanced, I am so far ahead of the game. Everything that's being revealed now, I've seen and done it and been there, whether I was a part of it or not a part of it, either side, I understand it. So I can have patience more than the average bear. It means I can sit back and you would never know what I know until I tell you. See, the biggest advantage that anybody can have, and this is free game, I'm giving it to you, is to know your adversaries when they think you don't know, you know. It's when you let them know they're not going to be who you know they are. So that's how you know your surroundings, and that's how you know how to deal with certain people. I don't deal with everybody. I don't deal with everybody the same way I deal with this person, Minnie, Mo, and Jack. I deal with everybody accordingly. And it's not necessarily how they deal with me. It's how I deal with them. I don't give them that power. And when they want to go, and when I say they, when they want to go and try to explain something that I didn't even ask, I know what that means too. I'll sit back, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. See, we can leave with this one on a good night. It's a simple phrase, but it means something very powerful. Game recognized game. But what is that, Bernard? Then you don't know game. To ask me that is game. Because now you want me to explain to you what game is, and if you don't know that by a certain age of life, then I can't play catch up with you or go back to play catch up with you. Game recognized game. Bernard has a key understanding who I am. It's my brand, it's my worth, it's who I am, then it's my family, immediate family, and then it's Golden Boy. It's not second, it's not first. I'm going to say it again. It's Bernard Hopkins, my brand, my work, my integrity, my name, all the stuff that comes with the brand. Then it's my immediate family, my son, my daughter, the people I love, the people that love me. Then it's Golden Boy, third. That should say a lot on where I'm at in my head. And I don't care who's offended by that. Because if you don't have your priorities set up in line,
facts, man,
then that's on you.
No, that's not offensive at all, Bernard, man. Like you said, game recognized game. Once again, man, this was another great interview, Bernard. Like
I'm on that bullshit again.
Ooh. Man, you better tell them how I'm coming, Bernard. But like I said, Bernard, man, another great interview. We appreciate you taking out your time to give us this interview.
Facts.
Look forward to the next interview. Look forward to seeing you soon.
And hopefully in Texas, man.
We got a hookup
with Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? Errol Spence. Come on, man. Independence, man. Let's do that September. Let's get that done.
All right, man. Well, you take care, man. You tell Joy hello. You tell everybody hello, and we will see you soon.
Respect.
Take it easy, Bernard.
Man, another tremendous episode, JJ. Spit Bucket Podcast 61. Salute, my brother.
Bro, Bernard's a pleasure. Always a pleasure, isn't it?
Salute to everybody that's in the chat, whether you're on the Spit Bucket Podcast or ILTBA.
Yeah, listen, we couldn't get to the chat too, man. We really were trying to respect Bernard's time today. And I was trying to not even look at the chat because, all it takes is one comment to throw up. And then you start talking about something else, and we really wanted to hit the points we wanted to make. So we made an emphasis to not even look at the comments. So sorry if we didn't get there. We really appreciate y'all being in there. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. And goddamn it, Corey, did I make my stance clear about the PED shit? I don't want for one second somebody to think that I'm defending Ryan or I'm defending Devin.
We don't care what they think, bro. Like,
I don't care what they think, but
like, yeah, you defend you made your point, bro, and you stated
I love the
it, bro.
fucking
like,
sport too much.
Yeah, you talk your shit, bro, and I stand on that shit with you, bro. So
alright, man.
People gonna be people. Like Bernard say, you got a lot of ignorant motherfuckers. They got to know how to understand the lingo. If you can't get the lingo, then that's you.
Man, I wanted to talk to him about some Kid Austin too, bro. But we couldn't get
I wanted to get in. What question I wanted to get into, Bernard? Oh, it was about Sugar Shane Mosley. You heard him been talking shit about De La Hoya, talking about De La Hoya ain't been pushing his son because I beat him 3 times, 1 in the amateurs and 2 in the pros.
Yeah, but
that's another.
Speaking of PEDs, but no, that's another conversation.
That's another topic. We'll get to that later.
But listen,
salute everybody. We gotta get to this playoff game, man.
Oh shit, I forgot. All right, man. Y'all take it easy. See y'all later.
This is JJ Solomon.
This is Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. This is the Spit Bucket Podcast.